Hello, my name's Izzy Barrett, and I'm the Artistic Director of the National Youth Jazz Collective. Sorry for being a couple of seconds late. I actually live next to a train line, and a very loud freight train decided to go by at 5 o'clock. I didn't think you'd appreciate hearing that. So, what we're going to do today, everybody, is we're going to celebrate 7 pieces written by 7 great young composers we've worked with as part of our summer programme. And what we did was we went to Benenden for 11 days and we were 4 courses. So we had the composition course, we had the vocal jazz camp, we had a course for 5 jazz nonettes, and then a short course, which is a feeder course. And everybody was working together at the same time. And the composers that we worked with, that we had 8 young composers with us this year, each of them wrote for one of the nonettes. Now, the nonettes play to a very high standard. They're like young professionals, and people forget that they're 14 to 18 because they're already playing to a very high standard. So it was a fabulous opportunity for these great young composers to write for people their own age who are playing to a very high level. And what I was surprised to hear from many of them is that they hadn't had the opportunity to ever have a piece performed by anybody. Well, I would never have guessed that from working with them because the standard of the writing and the creativity, the enthusiasm and the camaraderie was exceptional. It was second to none. And it really felt like I was around people who were veterans who'd been writing for ages. So I'm really thrilled that we have this opportunity to share the outcome of that wonderful 11 days with you today. Before we move on to introduce you to the youngsters and hear their music, I'd like you to welcome, please, our program manager. I was just looking to see whether she was online, and she is. Maya, might you come and join us? And also, everybody, Maya only joined us this year, so congratulations for getting the gig. Thank you for the brilliant work you've been doing since you started in, was it June that you started?
Yeah, June.
Baptism of fire, and then August, there we were
Yeah.
in the course. We've never guessed that you and you either, the way that you took the role on. So I think we were working with almost 100 young musicians, weren't we, during the course
Yeah.
of 11 days. But what was your take on the actual program, sort of seeing all these different young musicians and
It's
all the things they were doing?
it's really, really inspiring just to see how talented everyone is and how willing everyone is to just take on a challenge and really get stuck into jazz, essentially. And especially with the composition students hearing their pieces, it's amazing, especially considering that, not many of them have written for a jazz ensemble before, or even, the jazz genre. So it's been really, really inspiring, and I've loved every minute of organizing and watching. So yeah.
What I love about that is tipping it on its head because coming from my background of writing for orchestra and choir and big band and that beautiful opportunity to create your own sound world, that's what I find really magical about this course because we're not
Mm.
bringing in just the standard vocabulary of jazz repertoire. It's people are bringing in their own sonic ideas and then putting the jazz musicians in a new creative environment for them to contribute to the storytelling.
It,
So what we're going to do now is we're going to welcome some of the young musicians up. They'll introduce their piece and we'll play them. And you're going to be behind the scenes playing the videos, which is
yeah.
great. But from time to time, I will call you up to see how things are going. If anybody's watching that has typed any questions into the YouTube. So we will, Maya will definitely keep tabs of that. And I was just checking, I have my phone subtly to the side. And if there is anything that comes in that I don't get to see while we're on live, they will tap it and send it to me. So any questions anybody's got or comments, we'll definitely feed them through to the young musicians as we proceed. So I think without further ado, if I may, Maya, I'm going to welcome Thomas to the stage. Thomas, come and tell us all about, first of all, introduce yourself, who you are, and the name of your piece, and then we'll have a little chat about it, and then we'll share it with everybody. So Thomas, welcome back. It's nice to
Hello,
see you. I haven't seen you since August.
thank you. Yeah, nice to see you too. It's been a while.
So
My name's
you're in year
Thomas.
13 now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in year 13. I'm 17, turning 18 next year. And my piece is called Subliminal Amphigory. I don't really know why I chose that title. I liked the idea that it was an amphigory, but I was pretty hesitant. I thought I might change it at some point to Amphigory on its own because I thought it was a
Might
bit
you
more.
explain what an allegory is for people?
It's a speech or something that someone says that isn't really questioned. So yeah, that's kind of
Oh.
yeah, it's kind of the vibe that I was going for. in my piece.
Brilliant. And also, is it the first time that you've written a piece for jazz musicians?
Well, for such well, I've written a bit of jazz, but it wasn't for this was there were 9 musicians, so this was a pretty big ensemble compared to what I'd written for before. So yeah, this was the first time that I'd written for such an important like ensemble.
And it was nice that we were able to give everybody the opportunity on the. So you all arrived on Thursday and we worked together. You met the vocalists on the Friday, and Pete Churchill did a joint workshop with you all about writing for song. And then on the Sunday, the main nonettes turned up for their 7-day summer school. And it was nice that you had the opportunity to then go and meet your ensemble, just to meet people and first of all hear the sound. And then the next day we were doing the rehearsal. I was wondering what happened when you went to meet your ensemble? Did it do anything, even if it was, oh my gosh, it made me realize that I've got some really good musicians, or the sound of the instrument, I could ask some questions. What happened when you met them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I knew these musicians were all very talented beforehand, but like walking into the room, they're already playing, they're already rehearsing something. Um, but I was really impressed. I think the drummer came in a bit late, and it was pretty cool, kind of seeing how once the drummer started playing, because they were playing without the drummer at first, and when the drummer came in, it kind of like tied everything together, and we could really see how there was really a connection between all these musicians, and it was really a very eclectic group, which was really nice to see, and it was very impressive. Yeah,
And
it
yet they
definitely
hadn't
did.
met, they themselves hadn't met. So it's just that the skill set that they brought with them made it possible for them to have that connection.
Yeah.
And I know from talking to all of them, they were equally wowed by the composers and really thrilled to be playing everybody's pieces. Might you remember who the soloists were? Which instruments are soloing did you feature?
Well, in my piece at first, I only had an accordion solo because there was an accordion player, and I had never written for an accordion, so I really wanted to try and, you know, put him on a pedestal, because it's really a very cool instrument. So yeah, I had an accordion solo, and I think it was a tenor saxophone. Um, but after rehearsing a little bit, um, I got some feedback from the musicians, and I chose to give a solos to other instruments as well.
Oh, great.
So there were 3 trumpet players, so they all had a solo as well. Same for the tenor and the alto saxophone. So yeah, there were 5 solo and the accordion player, so 6 soloists in the end.
That's
So
brilliant.
yeah.
Now that's a good sign, isn't it? That shows just how much they respected and enjoyed the music as well. They were all dying to have a play. So that must have really boosted your confidence
Yeah.
and really heightened the experience.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. It was very nice.
So you're going off to study next year, and I can't remember which subject you've chosen to study at university.
Yeah, well, I've been leaning towards engineering, probably mechanical engineering or aerospace engineering. So I'm in year 13. So I haven't yet finished my application for UCAS, but
Yeah.
I was looking to study in the UK probably, and
Well,
if
and
not,
just as we've said
immersion
at
in
the
Europe.
summer school, but people watching, we get a lot of people that go on to do non-music as undergraduate level. A lot of physics, a lot of structural engineering. First time that we've had anybody with your subjects, but they're very closely related, aren't they? To these sort of maths, physics kind of subjects. I think that jazz is definitely the structural engineering of music, and we've got that inquisitiveness as how does it work. But just for everyone watching, if you do go on to choose an undergraduate subject, but you're really passionate about music, it's absolutely fine to apply to go and do a postgraduate somewhere in music. And it's very common for postgraduate students not to have done an undergraduate course. So I know often people say at 18, I don't know whether to do music or something else. And actually, you don't have to choose. The world literally is the oyster. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing more of your music, as well as all the things that you do at university, and keeping in touch. But in the meantime, Thomas, might you introduce your piece, and then we'll ask May to play it and we'll have a listen.
Yeah, so it's called subliminal amphigory. So the instruments, there are 3 trumpets, a tenor, an alto saxophone, bass, piano, and drums. And it's there's 2 separate sections or 2 separate parts, which are pretty easy to determine when you're listening to it. But the first is pretty uplifting, and then it slows down a little bit in the end, and I kind of wanted to have those two different vibes, the very uplifting beginning and the slower kind of groovy bit in the end. So that's my piece. I'm Thomas, and this is take 2 of Subliminal Figure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Fantastic. Big round of applause there, Thomas. And just to say that, to remind everybody that everyone that was playing, everybody that wrote the music, we were aged 14 to 18. So really incredible. Last question before we move on to the next piece is, how did it feel to conduct? And congratulations, you were really clear and you did really well. Had you done anything like that before, standing in front of an ensemble conducting?
No, not really, not really. Most of the time, I've rarely got my piece played by an ensemble, but most of the time I was playing with the ensemble, so I wasn't
Well,
directing at
it
the
was
same time.
really
But
clear. And if I'd been sitting in that ensemble, I would have known exactly what it was that you wanted. So you're on the tracks. You just keep doing what you're doing. It's really big congratulations. And
thank you so
keep in
much.
touch, won't you? And good luck with everything, with the applications. Let us know where you go and maybe see you next summer, see how it goes. Because we've got you, you can still join us again if you'd like to in August. So in the meantime, well done, Thomas. Sounded great.
Thank you.
See you soon. We're
Yeah, see you
going to
soon.
welcome Bradley up to the stage next. So, Bradley, might you come and join us? Lovely to see everybody. We haven't seen everybody since August. We haven't heard from each other. We haven't been in touch with each other. So, quite a few months have gone by. What a great few days it was, Bradley. What do you think?
Yeah,
When
it's
we
fantastic. Yeah, great opportunity. Yeah, so my name is Bradley, and the name of my composition is Riding the Waves.
And why is it Riding the Wave? What is it that evoked that title for you?
The melody I wrote has quite a flowing quality to it, and I thought that kind of evoked the vibe of a summer, like beach summer. Yeah.
Great. So, did you write the piece first and then come up with the title in response to the music you've written?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Great.
yeah.
And the featured soloists, which instruments did you choose to feature?
So it was tenor saxophone and trumpet. So
Great.
yeah,
That's another freight train. There's obviously a lot of freight stuff going on
yeah.
outside. Um, wondered whether I know you're now at university, so whether you might have to tell everybody where you are and what you're studying. And
So
then,
I'm at the University of Birmingham studying physics. Yeah, and
and you said that you've had the opportunity to talk to people at the university about your music and music making. Might you tell us a bit about that?
yeah. So I've got involved with all of the music opportunities at the university. So there's a jazz orchestra that I've joined, and also a jazz collective there as well. So
So,
it's great.
as I
Yeah,
was saying, it's possible to do two subjects. You can
yeah.
still carry on. We had somebody that was with us who went on. He was the finalist of the BBC Young Jazz Musician of the Year. Went on to study maths, and when I asked him, I said, "I'm not trying to change your mind, but just to understand." And he said, "Well, I can keep my music going if I go and study maths, but I can't keep my maths going if I study music." So he then did go on and do postgraduate. So very exciting, Bradley.
Mhm.
So I think without further ado, I think Maya's got the track ready. Did you hear it already, or is this the first time you've heard it?
This is the first time. Yeah,
Woohoo! Well, sit back and relax. We'll see you at the other
yeah.
end. Over to
Yeah.
you, Maya. And just remind everybody one more time of what the piece is called, if you could, Bradley.
Piece is called Riding the Waves. Hello, I'm Bradley Peacock, and this is Riding the Waves, take two. One, two, one, two, three, four.
Well done, Bradley. Brilliant. I've got to ask because it's very bebop what you've written, but actually it's very English bebop. It's got a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
Tubby Hayes and Ronnie Scott's, and I'm just wondering, have you had opportunity to listen to much of that? You know, those musicians. Were you born and bred listening to British bebop music?
Well, I became like interested more like maybe like 14, 15. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really great. I can really feel Tubby Hayes and Ronnie going, yeah,
Mhm.
I want to play those tunes. They're very, like, orally, they're really pleasing as well. You know, you can imagine that a small group could also take that piece and play it where it's just two frontline horns playing the melody and then taking solos. It's really clear writing and really, um, you can very grabbable by the ear, which is what jazz is all about, isn't it? No jazz musician wants to feel like it's running over hurdles. It needs that sort of clear run. So well done. Who are you into? Who do you listen to?
Um, like Clifford Brown, Chet Baker, Miles Davis, yeah, people like that.
That's
That
really
was
interesting. So
uh,
none of the British bebop, because you really have got a very British sound in your approach, which is
yeah,
great. Because you're British and it's
yeah,
bebop effect. But that's interesting. So yeah, go and check out
yeah,
Tubby
yeah,
Hayes
yeah,
and Ronnie
yeah,
Scott's. I
well,
think you'll see what I
yeah,
mean when you hear it.
mhm,
The clarity of lines, brilliant. Some of those guys are still alive. So, like Dick Pearce, the trumpet player that used to play with Ronnie Scott's, I'd love to, if I may, email them the
mhm,
link. And
yeah,
we've got the slightly younger generation, like Alan Barnes and people like that, Alan Skidmore. They love to hear it because it shows them that they're sort of the world that they inhabited is still alive and kicking. Well done, Bradley. Brilliant.
yeah,
And the conducting was really clear and the parts were clear. And for everyone watching, also to remind everybody that there were two sorts of notation going on. There was the notation about when the ensemble was playing their lines, so to know rhythmically and pitch-wise what to play, so the normal staves, but also you were using chord symbols for the soloists in the rhythm sections. And I think from our conversations you've had experience of that as a trumpet player, reading chord symbols, if I
yes,
remember rightly. So, but you clearly communicated them clearly because the ensemble knew exactly what you meant and what you
yeah,
wanted to achieve. So, are you pleased?
yeah, very happy with it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Well, good luck with everything that you're doing in Birmingham. If
Hmm.
we may, whenever we're passing through, we've got some auditions in Birmingham in April, so we'll give you a shout. It'd be nice to catch up and see what you've been doing. But in the meanwhile, Bradley, bravo. See
Yeah.
you very soon.
All right. See ya.
So we've got a few musicians that we worked with who sadly can't join us. We really struggled. We could not find one date for everybody to be free. And the next person whose music we're going to share is Lucy Masterson, who came from Derbyshire, and she was actually with us last year, now again this year. And she's now in Durham studying music, so I think it clashed with some of the timetable commitments that she had. But she did send us because she was chuffed to bits that we were going to be sharing her music, and she did send a few words that explain what her piece was about. So her piece is called Cloud, and she says, I wrote a funky piece last year, so this year I wanted to try something contrasting, especially since I had a singer in my combo. So last year we didn't have any vocalists in the combos, but this year we did, and there were two people that returned. There was Lucy and there was Marcus. And so I thought, especially as they'd already had two sessions, one year with Pete Churchill about writing for voice, I thought it'd be really nice to give the people that came back again the opportunity to work with the ensemble that had a vocalist in it. So, especially since I had a singer in my combo, one of my main ideas was to have a repeated pedal note in the bass with a chord progression to give it a static, laid back feel. And also for the middle section, it's inspired by Spanish music. And it's really nice to read. I really enjoyed working with my combo, and they were all great players. And I know, Lucy, that they also felt the same about you and Elise. So I'm going to hand over to Maya, who's going to press play. And here it is, Lucy Masterson's piece, Cloud.
Lucy, this is Cloud, and this is take two. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Fantastic. Well done, Lucy. If you're watching, I'm sure you are. And I know you'll be catching up on it as well. That worked brilliantly. And what a lovely contrast it is. If you want to hear Lucy's piece from last year, there's a playlist on the NYJC National Youth Jazz Collective YouTube channel. So you'll be able to check it out there. Just want to remind everybody that these young musicians you're listening to are aged 14 to 18, both the composers and the performers. And it's a really great opportunity for everybody to really get a real true life experience of being a session musician and being a composer as well. So that the composers basically rehearse their piece, they got a 20-minute rehearsal on the Monday. And then if you wanted to go and finesse anything or rewrite anything, if you felt something wasn't working, and then straight back into the recording of it on the Tuesday. And again, only a 20-minute slot. And that's how it often is in the music business, especially if you're commissioned to write a piece. So it's if you're writing for your own band, then often you've got the luxury of more rehearsal time. But then it's also as true for the young musicians. It's the first time ever that any of them got that more of a session opportunity where they're put in a situation to sight read a piece of music and get it together very quickly, and then after rehearsing it to record it. And I think everybody did really well, and that shows how well the pieces were written, and also what skill set the young musicians had as well. Most of the nonettes, they learn everything with us by ear, so that's the only time in the week where we're actually reading off parts. And so again, I think everybody did really well. So well done, Lucy. Well done, the combo. And I'm going to welcome to the stage now our fourth composer, which is Ollie. Hello, Ollie. And Ollie wrote a great piece that's got a Spanish sounding name. So I'm going to ask him in a minute when he joins us if he might tell us what the name of the
Hello,
piece
I'm here.
is.
Sorry.
Hello, Ollie. Nice to see you. So what's the name of your piece, lovey?
My piece is called Caminando la Habana.
And where's this fluency of Spanish come from? Are you a Spanish speaker?
No, I don't speak Spanish, but it was my composition was very visually inspired. So a lot of like the lines that I came up with, everything, my whole thought process was a description of what I was seeing, watching videos, images, looking at Havana and how it is, yeah, the culture.
Oh, wow. And what drew you to Havana? Have you been? Is it somewhere you want to be? Did you just fall on the video footage during the course of the week? How did that connect?
Well, Bossa's a big like inspiration for me. I listen to a lot of bossa, and especially like I was exploring that sort of part of the world, that exact area, the kind of rhythm and culture from that area of the world.
So you're a
So
bass player as well, aren't you? So
yeah,
it's down to you. A lot of those bossa feels are down to the bass. If the bass hasn't got that in the pocket, it's very difficult for the rest of the band to play with a bossa feel. So is it a feel that you particularly enjoy playing as well?
yeah,
Brilliant. I like the answer. Yeah, it's nice
it's
and sweet and
very,
short.
it's nice,
Beautiful.
it's nice.
So which remind us, which year are you in, Ollie?
Year 11.
Year 11. So you just finished year 10 when you wrote this piece. I mean, that's incredible. And is it the first time that you've had a piece performed by an
Yeah,
ensemble?
yeah.
Really?
It's the first time I've also ever written a piece of music directly for an ensemble.
Wow. Well, as I said, none of that, didn't know any of that when we were working together, and I would never have guessed because you came with strong ideas, and it was lovely to see how it evolved. So I think we had sort of 4 days of writing. What software were you using on your laptop?
Musical.
Yeah, so we were watching that gradually develop, and then we had Alex came to join us, didn't she? And she came round on the day 4, Alex Ridow, who is a BBC Young Jazz Musician of the Year 2014, I think, or 16. And then she's also an alumni and she's now in New York, but she really enjoys composing. So she joined us, and it was great having her go round and play over everybody's changes to show just how playable they all were. It's really nice to get that confidence, isn't it, ahead of the rehearsal, that reassurance. And me sitting next to somebody saying, yes, this will work, this is brilliant, that's not enough. It's good to actually put it in a musical context. So that's why we invited her. And I can remember her being really excited about all the chord progressions and saying, gosh, this can't wait to hear them all. So, how was it to conduct? How did you enjoy conducting? Because if you're saying it's the first time you've written a piece, so conducting, I'm guessing, was the first time as
Yeah,
well.
first time conducting. I mean, I only had that one lesson that we did on the course, but I mean, that was all I really needed. I probably wasn't the best conductor, but I think I got through what I was wanted to happen, and we got through the music, and the band were really great, understanding what was happening in the music.
Oh, brilliant. The nice thing to remember for all of us is that it's very different, the role of a jazz conductor, because we've got the rhythm section keeping the groove and the feel. So, an orchestral conductor, especially because the orchestras are spread out over a large stage, it's very helpful to have that person keeping every beat. But with jazz, we don't need that because we've got the groove of the rhythm section and everybody else. So you were a brilliant conductor because you were just marking those moments that people needed to know when they were arriving somewhere. So I'm really excited about hearing the piece. Have you heard it yet? Or was this the first time?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Were you pleased? Oh, that's right, because we sent it to you because we had a few things that we wanted to just compare and contrast. And yeah, brilliant. And you're pleased.
Yeah, it was. I'm very happy with it.
Good. Well, quite rightly so. And I'm very much hope that you'll join us again next August. But in the meantime, Ollie, would you please remind everybody of the name of your piece?
My piece is Caminando la Habana. I'm Ollie Kaplan, and this is Caminando La Habana, take one.
done, Ollie. That's brilliant. You can really feel that boss's feel. It's really coming through loud and clear. And I was just listening, thinking, I can't believe that you've never written a piece before. You've never conducted a piece before. There's also the editing of parts, wasn't there? Creating parts and editing those. So well done, Ollie. Are you pleased?
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm very pleased, and I have to say a big thank you to you. I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't have known where to start. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're really, very welcome. And you were honestly such a joy to work with. I was really pleased for you that you were able to have some space to create this piece that was so beautiful, and that you very naturally sat down and did it. And everything that we offered you as advice and help, you took it and made it your own. And so well done, Ollie. Be very proud of yourself and very much hope to see you again for the next years.
Hopefully, yeah.
Definitely. All right, lovely. I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm going to ask lovely Maya to come and join us because I've got a few things just to say between the before we introduce the next piece. So Maya, if you'll come and join us. And while you do that, I'm going to just say to everybody that's watching, yesterday I was at the Parliamentary Jazz Awards, and I was really thrilled to see that three of NYJC's tutors have won an award. One was the fantastic Zoe Rahman, who was one of the tutors on this year's school, and she got it for Album of the Year. And then a really dear friend of ours who's been and taught on several of our courses, both at King's Place and when we did the summer school at Purcell, that's Nikki O. She got the Educator Award. And then a very dear friend of ours who I've actually worked with a lot outside of NYJC as well, because I was external examiner for the jazz course that was at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. So Paula Gardner, who's just retired from being the founding head of department. She was head of jazz when it first started 22 years ago, and she got the Lifetime Achievement Award. As well as that, she was a guitarist who, when I first met her, she was a guitarist who wrote a lot for theatre and radio and television. And then as she herself, became an accidental bass player because there was a need for a bass. And we're all really glad that she did because she blossomed and grew, had duos, trios. She had a band which I was really chuffed to hear was an anarchic big band, and anyone that knows me knows that anything that's got a bit of anarchy in it is right up my street. And then went on to set up the jazz course and did both Nikki Yo and Paula also have done a lot for the BBC Young Jazz Musician of the Year as well. Nikki was she was the band leader for one of the house bands for all of the youngsters to play with when she was with, it was definitely Mike Mondesi. I can't remember which drummer was with that one. And then Paula also did it one year. She played drums, and they're both mentors as well. So are you with us, Maya? Are you there?
Yes,
Oh,
hello.
brilliant. There you are. Nice to see you, lovely. So what do you think of the show so far?
Amazing. I mean, I watched the videos just before starting, but there's never can get enough of them. They're just brilliant pieces, aren't they? They're fantastic.
Really, and I was just, you know me, I'm always hatching plans. I was thinking, oh, we could get these pieces. We've got a fantastic new partnership that we've got with several organisations. We're really excited that last year I went to work with the concert band, the National Youth Concert Band, and they've invited us to work again in April, which is exciting. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if some of these pieces have the opportunity to work with some of those musicians, not necessarily during that April, but to get them played by different cohorts and then we're also working a lot with Zero Classical, which is an organisation of Indian musicians. So we've relocated to Leicester. How are you enjoying being in Leicester? You're based in Peterborough, aren't you? That's nice and handy for Leicester. How's
Yeah,
it going?
yeah, not too far away. Leicester's a really great city, and I think it's definitely got a really strong future in terms of arts and culture and music. So it's really exciting to be here and have NYJC sort of using this as their base. Yeah, it's very exciting times ahead, I think.
So we've just last week did a great project, again, original composition. This time it was without writing anything down, 15-minute piece. And with 10 young musicians, wasn't it? Myself and Jonathan led it, but you got us there. Without you, none of us would have known what to do. So we were in it, and we pleased with the end product.
Yeah, it was really great. Especially it was only 3 days, I think, and none of the young musicians had met each other before. So to see them sort of work together so quickly and so supportively, it was really amazing to see. And the piece they came up with is really brilliant, and They're going to be playing it in a concert on the 16th of November in Bow Manor Hall, I think.
Yeah.
So I definitely encourage everyone to get some tickets and come along and see, because it's a really, really great and exciting piece as well.
So I'm going to put a link on Facebook. Thank you for sending it this afternoon. I'll definitely, as we finish this, I'll put it on Facebook. So if people would like to sign up for tickets, and it's between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, and there are 7 pieces altogether, aren't there? So and it's one of those nice things where each of us play pieces 3 times, so you can go round and hear them in a sort of installation. Also wanted to just quickly say to the National Youth Concert Band, I know that you're watching, and thanks so much for your lovely comment. And that's a great point to make, which is, isn't it great to see that people who are creating music aren't necessarily going straight on to do music degrees? You know, they're going on to do other subjects as well, because as we said earlier, all routes can lead to your own creativity. And that's what all of these organisations are all about. We want to make it bespoke so that everybody finds their own personal route. That's been very common in jazz. Until I set up the jazz course at Trinity, there was one at the academy, only had a small number of people there, 5 people a year, which I worked on with Graham Collier when he set it up. And I know Leeds has always had a jazz course, but then gradually Birmingham started the jazz course, and the Guildhall developed to their jazz course, and so on. But it's really great to see before that all the jazz musicians who inspired us all had alternative jobs. So they were jazz musicians and doing other things. And it just makes life interesting, whatever route you take. So I know, talking of the routes, that we were working with 2 brothers who came to support us. We had the wonderful Harry Brain and his brother, whose name I've forgotten. Do you remind me? Do you remember?
Ben.
Ben. And they were both the reason that we videoed things in the way that we did for everybody to know is it was very important for us to not do that thing of going into a studio and putting all the instruments down one track at a time. It doesn't work for jazz. It has to be alive in the moment. As Graham Collier said, the late Graham Collier, he himself said, jazz happens in real time once. It was really important for the performances to capture that. So we had the reason we couldn't go to studios, we had like 2 recording sessions going on simultaneously. We had Harry in one room and Ben in another with a handheld camera. And yes, it would be lovely to take these into a proper professional studio and record them. Obviously, that costs money. So those of you watching, we are really keen to make sure that all the young musicians we work with get as many opportunities as they can to have a really true, authentic experience. And what many of us are producers, we've got a record label, Fuzzy Moon Records, and we would love to take them into a professional studio, but obviously it costs money, and not all the musicians we work with can afford to pay their way on the courses. A third of our young musicians have bursaries, and you yourself were managing that. That's a bit of a spike, isn't it? So if anyone is watching, then they can definitely donate. Do you want to explain how people could go on the website maybe to donate a little money towards helping it make possible for us to do things like take the youngsters into a recording studio?
Yeah. If you head to our website, you can choose any amount to donate, and no amount is too small. So we really do encourage it. And in the description of this live stream, there'll also be a link, and you can head there as well. But we really
www.nationalyouthjazz.co.uk or com?
yes. .co.uk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the corner it says donate. We've managed to put a little square there. And we make sure that a lot of the things that we've been doing are actually free because we've offered it. We heard in one of the areas we were working, we consulted with the music service there, and the youngsters who were very keen to work with us said the most that they could afford to pay for an experience, a weekly experience of making music together, was £2.82. So of course we straight away said, you don't have to pay anything, we'll do it for free. But obviously that cost us £2,000 and we had to find that from somewhere. So if there's anyone out there that would like to help fund these young musicians that we're working with who come from, the only barrier that's trying to prevent them, but we make sure it doesn't, is financial barrier. And so if you would like to chip in and help out, we'd be very grateful, especially as we say, because the bursaries have increased, the demand has increased. We always make sure everyone's anonymous. We never identify who of the young musicians has had bursaries because it's about being a level playing field, releasing your creativity. So talking of releasing creativity, I think we're going to go on to Marcus now, Marcus Bunton, who was a young musician that had also worked with us last year. So he's back for the second time, and it was 12 years old when he wrote this piece. We actually altered. Normally we say 14 to 18, but in this instance, his family was so enthusiastic, quite understandably so. They really assured us that if he was given the opportunity, he would make the most of it. So those of you that are there, obviously we've got the guidelines of 14 to 18, but if you're working with a youngster who's younger than that and you see what we've been doing and you think, no, they are mature enough to cope with it, then please obviously drop us a line, because we do consider case by case. So Marcus is now, he's just started in this academic year at the Purcell School of Music, and he's a very fine trumpet player as well. And his piece is called Fresh Start. And before we play it, just to say that what was great about Marcus, because he's also a very fine pianist, that for the first day of writing, he was sitting at the piano, just finessing the groove before going any further with committing the music to the page. He wanted to make sure that the groove that he was creating, that it felt really groovy, so he was finessing it, but then also that he could play it so that he could then demonstrate it. It wasn't just about handing over the parts to the musicians, but he wanted to actually show it to the pianist as well. And that's a really common way that we communicate our ideas. And so here we are. Oh, he started a piece and started another piece, which is why the one is called Fresh Start. Over to you.
Hi, I'm Marcus. This is my piece, Fresh Start, take 3.
Well done, Marcus. Hope you're watching. As people may not know, as I said, he was at the Purcell School, and Purcell School is quite a long day that's there during the day, then have supper, and then go on and do things in the evening. So I'm sure he's frantically working away, being creative, as well as doing all the other regular school work that everybody does when they're at the Purcell School. But what a great place to be at age 12, turning 13. Unbelievable. So watch out for Marcus. And I hope to see you again next year, Marcus. In the meantime, we've got somebody that was a newcomer to NYJC. Can we please welcome to the stage Nathaniel Jacobson? And
Hello.
Nathaniel, hello, Lovey. It's the first time that you worked with NYJC, and I'm wondering, was it the first? You're also the same age as Ollie, aren't you? So you're now going to year 11. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, year 10. You wrote that piece in year 10. That's unbelievable. And had you written a piece before for
I had,
anybody?
yeah.
What did you write before?
I'd written like a couple piano trios and like
Ooh, like a
more
jazz
classical
piano trio
pieces.
with string.
No, more string piano trio, yeah.
Yeah. So who might you take your hand away from your mouth just so that we can hear you a bit more clearly? Thanks, Lovey. I'm just wondering, who inspired you to write piano trio? It's a great lineup, and there's some great pieces already written for piano trio. So when you were doing your research, I bet you really enjoyed listening to other composers. I'm wondering who inspired you when you were writing your piano trios.
I mean it was less of someone inspiring me, it was more of just doing composition in school and thinking like why not try something like to
Mm.
just compose something for the sake of composing, really.
Who gave you the idea for the trio? Was that your idea to have that
Yeah,
lineup? Or was
basically,
that...
yeah.
Oh, well done. You chose a very good. Right, so was it piano, cello, violin, or
Yeah.
yeah, great. Well, I would definitely suggest that you carry on writing for that lineup because it's a nice small ensemble to be touring with as well. Not all venues that put on performances have got a big stage, so that's a really nice intimate lineup. Very good. So in the meantime, did you write anything for jazz musicians before?
No, not at all.
And for a nine-piece ensemble?
No.
Well, you wouldn't guess it. The way that you came up with your ideas, it was really great. And as we're going to hear in a minute, it worked really nicely. The band really invested and wanted to play it well. You directed well. The writing was really clear. The parts were really clear. I don't remember with any of the pieces of the composers that we've been meeting so far, and also in a minute when we sign off with our seventh piece, nobody was having terrible troubles with generating parts. Everybody was really very proficient on their software. Which software did you use for your editing of parts?
I used Dorica.
Dorica, yeah. So some were using Sibelius and some were using MuseScore and Dorica. So it's brilliant. Nobody used pencil and paper. What was it like writing for the lineup, Nathaniel? What did you feel? What was the process as you were writing the piece?
Um, Obviously at the start I kind of didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. But then after that I kind of got into the groove and kind of just I had one idea and then just kept on going, really. To be
So
honest.
once you find that anchor, that's groove-based
Yeah,
anchor.
yeah.
And also, I think it's suddenly hearing music played by live musicians is very different to what was happening on your laptop, isn't it?
Yeah,
Might you
definitely.
share what that was like? So obviously you wrote for 4 days, and then on the fourth day you met the combo, but it wasn't until the fifth day that you actually took your music for them to look at. So what did it feel like suddenly hearing that played live by the band?
Play like when they played live, it was just incredible. Like it was so much like more just on the laptop screen, it was like it was not as I don't know how to put it, but it was just really crazy hearing it in person, really.
Because when we sat together and listened to the laptop, it was it was pleasant, wasn't it? It was enjoyable. The piece was very strong, and but there's something about it comes to life when
Yeah.
others are playing. And because you gave them the freedom as well, you gave the pianist chords
Hmm.
rather than specific. So was that exciting to hear about how the pianist? Do you have a guitarist?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was exciting hearing how the piano and the guitar just
Yeah.
interpreted and created the groove. So what's the
Very.
name of your piece then, Nathaniel?
Into the Sunrise.
And where did that come from?
Uh, Basically, I couldn't think of a name at the end, but I just listened to it through, and I was just thinking of like being on a beach and just like, or even in a car and just like driving into the sunrise places.
So after having written the piece, it was very evocative, and then it created the
Yeah.
visual. I think that's quite a common way of doing things as well. Writing the music first and then allowing it to blossom. So I think without further ado, we're going to ask Maya to press play. Before we do, might you just remind everybody one more time what your piece is called?
Uh, Into Sunrise. Hi, Nathaniel. We're going to play Into the Sunrise, take 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, my little my video. So well done, Nathaniel, and I really hope that you're pleased with your. I can't believe that you're still only year 11 as well. I'm very much hoping that you'll come back again next summer. Hope you're pleased with
Yeah,
the performance.
thank you.
And yeah, well done. Keep doing what you're doing. It was really nice to hear that guitar solo. It was really in the pocket and really grooving. And that lovely idea. It's like really got character. Your little line that the saxophone starts at the beginning. I said little in that it's very fragmented, but it's great. It's like got this strong potency about it. So it really propelled the piece along. And I'm really very, very pleased. Well done.
Thank you.
See you very soon, lovely. Take care. All the best with everything. And hopefully, as I say, hope to see everybody again in August. So how do you get to the summer school? Well, we've got a program now of 4 different courses. We've got the, as we said, the nonettes, which you've been hearing play. So we go around the country and we do auditions during August, April for that. And that's during the Easter weekend. So we go around the whole country. We've got 15 days. I think it's 13 different towns and we meet everybody. And the auditions are free. It's very important for us to make sure they're free. And Maya, might you come and join us and tell us a bit about what's happening there? Because you're frantically pulling it together. Well, actually, not frantically. You don't do anything frantically. You do it with such grace, and you're very in a very cool and calm way. You're pulling together this gorgeous audition tour. Might you say a few words about where, and how do people apply for it? What's going to be happening? When are you going to be going live?
Yeah. So we'll be going live mid early December. And you'll be able to apply for an audition on our website. It will take you to a form, and there'll be a whole list of options of places to choose from, whatever is closest to you. And like Izzy said, it's completely free. So we really do encourage you to come and audition. And the auditions are also for our vocal course as well. So if you want to apply for the vocal course, you can also come and audition at one of the venues that we have. Of course, if you have any questions about this, you're welcome to email me. There's a contact form on our website. You can get in touch, and we're more than happy to help.
And also for travel, if that includes if people are struggling to pay for any transport to the auditions,
Yes.
we've got bursaries there as well. So I think the 11th of December is the date we were aiming for to go
Yeah.
live. We always historically we always do it, don't we, just before Christmas. Everybody's quite used to that now. So all the tutors are saying to everybody, don't forget over the Christmas holidays to fill in your application. I think the deadline is February, and then we start in March.
Yeah.
And this segues nicely into, so as well as the 3 tutors from the summer school that we spoke about earlier on who have got Parliamentary Jazz Awards, then also an alumna, so Emma Ravitch got the Instrumentalist of the Year, which was great. And then, as you say, we've got the vocal jazz course that we run as well, which Pete Churchill leads. But the first year, we've done it for 3 years now, it could be our 4th year coming up. The second year, we had Anita Wardell joined us, and sadly, bless her, Anita had a stroke, which meant she couldn't join us for the 3rd year. But I understand things are going really well and she's recovering. She's still got a way to go. I think she's still in recovery. But she won and quite rightly so, the 2 weren't related. She won the Parliamentary Award for Best Vocalist of the Year. And she's a fantastic singer and vocalist. So all these amazing tutors that we're working with, we're very lucky that they're very committed, aren't they, to supporting NYJC, because 86% of the youngsters we work with say that they cannot access small group improvisation or composition. The 14% that say they can are going to specialist music schools, so they've often left home in order to go to a specialist music school, or they're doing it through conservatoires, and the conservatoires have only got such a certain amount of capacity, and also certain people have to travel miles to get there, so it's just not possible. So it's really important that we still keep all doing what we're doing and try and make things as accessible as we can. We say 1/3 of the youngsters that we've worked with across the whole country really needed financial support from us this year, but 90% go on to conservatoire. So there's strong, it's the evidence of need, and the youngsters really do make good use of what we do with them, so that it really strengthens their playing. And it's a joy to see their creativity. It's like the compositions and the performances as well. So I think I don't know about you, but I think we are very lucky to be doing what we're doing. It's a real privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Before this, you were also working with the Guitar Institute in King's Place, and you were sort of nurturing early career guitarists there as well, weren't you?
Yeah, the International Guitar Foundation.
That's it.
They help young guitarists sort of between finishing their last year at university and then the concert platform, because that's often a really tough kind of um space to navigate, sort of, going from academic education and then on to sort of building your own career as a performer. And the guitar, it's a really great instrument. It's very universal, and people do love to play it. And classical guitar as well is not as well known among young people. So it's really great to sort of
Oh, that's interesting.
encourage them to, organize their own concerts and go into schools as well and teach, primary school age children about.
Great repertoire as well for
Yeah,
written for classical guitar.
absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant. And then there's just one other, oh yes, about the actual auditions and the summer school. So I think it's really important for everybody to know that each year when we take, so it's 100 kids that we work, young people that we work with, either they're vocalists or they're composers or they're on the non-ed course or they are aspiring to get onto that course, but they just have access to any music education, jazz education particularly, that will help them get to that level. So that's why we invite them to come and join us on the short course, so we can really help them and the parents see what skill set and how to, what the pedagogy is and the best way to learn it. And it's all by ear, isn't it? So this composition side of things is very unusual for us. But what I've seen now, we're in our 18th year. I've seen each year cohorts of youngsters meet each other, each go on to conservatoires, staying in touch, seeing each other back out on the scene. So it's a fantastic opportunity. And that's why I brought the composition in as well, because originally I was doing it with Sound and Music, and they were writing for professional players who were a lot older. And I thought, no, the performers and the players need to meet their peers. It's very important. So when Sound and Music, for understandable reasons, because they lost some of their funding, cut the jazz, it was like, well, in that case, bring it in-house. And I don't know about you, but I think it's really working well because everybody's so excited and really giving their all. And what they're achieving in 6 days is unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. It's a really great course to be doing. So yeah.
So, and the composition strand will also be up for applications, won't it, in December?
Yeah, you can apply for those as well. The whole summer program will go live on the 11th of December. So yeah, keep an eye out and keep an eye on our social media as well, because we'll be announcing it there.
And the most important thing about the composition is it's, although, because often these composition courses are online applications where you submit scores and then that's it. And then you rock up and meet people on day one. And we're very keen to meet everybody, first of all, online. So once you've applied, then we will arrange to have either come and join us on the audition tour and meet us in person if you're local. But if not, then we'll arrange Zoom meetings. Because I think it's very important for the youngsters to meet us and for us to meet the youngsters and just sort of get the ball rolling. One of the things that we did notice about working with some of the young musicians was that they were very keen to work in a very professional way, very focused way, wanting to. So it wasn't just about coming and having lots of fun, but it was very much about setting themselves goals that they wanted to achieve. And I think that's great that they've got that incentive. So that's very much looking forward to seeing what happens with that next year with the new cohort and the returners. So we've got capacity for 15 composers. It's 3 per combo, but if things grow, we will see what happens. So the last person that we're going to share, whose music we're going to share, was Tobias Roberts, and Tobias was year 13, and he's now gone to Cambridge. We were waiting for the A-level results. All the composers went on the Tuesday. The A-level results came out on the Thursday. So I haven't heard any news. Maybe in the chat, anybody of the composers that's with us, if any of you have heard, Tobias was very much hoping to get into Cambridge, and we were rooting for him. So if anybody knows whether he'd get in or not, please maybe put that in the chat and we can share that with everybody. He wrote this fantastic piece called Sandworm, and he very kindly, again, because of his commitments, he couldn't make it this evening, but he wrote a nice short paragraph to explain, which is great. I wrote this piece after having the melody for the main chorus stuck in my head, and that's a really good sign, because that means that what you're hearing is very potent, and as composers, we all know that sort of earworm that we create ourselves. So ever since I went on holiday in Morocco in June, so he'd had it from June until August. Wow. Well, that's a really strong idea. The title of the piece is meant to reflect the rhythmic change of the beginning of the piece, which is called Sandworm, with multiple time signature changes in quite quick succession, creating an unstable feeling like shifting sand. The solo section of this piece was heavily inspired by Snarky Puppy. That's an ensemble that's inspired lots of young musicians, and quite rightly so, both compositionally and playing-wise, they're fantastic. So Snarky's Lingus, and the solo is what you wanted to give my own spin on that solo from that Lingus from Snarky Puppy. Strip back the aesthetics and put the section into alternating bars of 7 and 4. And very kindly at the end, which is really lovely, Tobias says, I hope you enjoy it. And I know you will, because we absolutely loved playing. I know the band did as well. So for now, everybody, after Tobias's piece, we're going to sign off. I really appreciate you watching this. I know the young composers. Might you all come to the screen and we just wave off, say goodbye to everybody before we go to Tobias's. So we've got Thomas, and we've got Ollie, and we've got Bradley joining us. Has everybody else left or no? Still good, Nathan. Fantastic. There's Maya. Brilliant. So does anybody know? Have we heard from Tobias? Did he get into Cambridge? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, if you we'll find out, and we'll put a little thing at the bottom of YouTube. I'm sure he did, because everyone will hear, it's a very strong piece. So what did you think of this? Is the first time everybody's heard pieces from everybody else. So Nathan, what did you make of all the pieces you've heard? And obviously we're very much hope you're pleased with yours and the rest of the programme.
I think they've been great, to be honest. I really enjoyed them, and
Had you heard snippets of them as people were?
yeah, I had, yeah.
So
But
they've come to full fruition. So brilliant. Bradley, what did you make
Yeah,
of the programme?
I think they're all very unique pieces, and all everyone has their own creative voice. Yeah, and all very engaging and interesting
Oh.
pieces.
It's very much like if there was a collection of short story writers, isn't it? Telling different short stories, their own personalities coming out of that. That's what all these pieces are, short stories, just sonically short stories. Ollie, how did you enjoy the programme?
It was very, very good. I enjoyed the environment, listening, getting ideas, learning new things. The program was good as well in terms of the education that we got. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it's upwards and onwards. We'll definitely will find other opportunities to get the pieces played. Thomas?
Yeah, it was really, really a great program, and I completely agree with what Bradley said. Very different feels to all the compositions, really, all very original and very unique in their own style. It's really, really,
So obviously
really
we'll let Lucy and Bias and Marcus know that we've shared the pieces as well. And I think May, you were looking out for comments. So a very nice comment there from the National Youth Concert Band. I'm very much looking forward. Let's see, maybe there might be an opportunity for some of our young musicians to play. It would be good to get these pieces played several times, wouldn't it? Because that's and the great thing, what we said to everybody was make sure technically that it's kind of within the parameters of a young professional player. So not to put in lots of extended techniques. Do you want to be able to take those pieces to be played? I'm wondering, before we wrap up with Marcus's piece, has anybody had the opportunity to get their pieces played that you wrote in August? No. So we will make sure that, would you like the opportunity to get them played again? Because we're definitely keen to help that make that happen. So we shall put our thinking caps on, see if we can get some. And the nice thing is, because they're all on computer, if there's any reorchestrations, for example, if something got a trombone and actually we haven't got a trombone in an ensemble, got tenor saxophone, it's very easy to switch them across. Great. Mayor, as we sign off, anything from you? Oh, mute.
Just want to say congratulations to everyone. It's been a real pleasure listening to all of your pieces, and you should all be very, very proud of what you've achieved in such a short space of time. And Sarah from the National Youth Concert Bands has said the same thing on the comments in the chat. So yeah, very well done to everybody.
Absolutely, this is it. You're on the road now. This is whatever you choose to do with the balance of music, not music. You're on that path of being a young professional. You definitely presented the music in a professional way, created it in a professional way, led it in a professional way, and even now you compared it in a professional way. So I want to thank you for a really lovely time in August. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you all again. In the meantime, we're going to hand over to Tobias's piece. Wish everybody a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us. Do feel free to put any comments about the music. And if you'd like to support any of our young musicians, as we say, www.nationalyouthjazz.co.uk, and in the far corner, donate. All the best, everyone. See you very soon. Keep doing what you're doing. Bye, everybody. Here we
Thank
are.
you.
Here's
Bye.
Tobias's piece.
Hi, my name is Tobias, and this is my piece Sandworm, take 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.